So far in the chapter of biochemistry, we have learned about the definitions and different concepts in chemistry which are important in biology. Definitions of acids, bases, atoms, elements, molecules, etc. etc. We also learned about the definitions of pH, buffers, normality, molarity, Avogadro's number. So all these concepts are going to help us while working in the laboratory during the preparation of different types of solutions. So definitely the practicals related to this theoretical part will be there in your practical course. The next part in this chapter is structure and functions of biomolecules and macromolecules. Cell is a system, it is a very complex system which consists of several biomolecules and macromolecules. Let us see what is the meaning of biomolecule. Biomolecules are the combination of atoms which are biologically active, and macromolecules are the combinations of different molecules all together that forms a large molecule like large proteins, or they're responsible for the formation of major structural components. We'll be calling them as macromolecules. As such, there is a very little difference between biomolecules and micromolecules. So biomolecules are the essential components of all the living cells. So living cell, as we know that it composed of multiple chemical compounds, we call them as biochemicals. And all these biochemicals are synthesized within the cell through a number of biochemical reactions. We have learned about metabolism. Metabolism, it is the sum of anabolism and catabolism that we have already learned. So all biochemical reactions fall into a single category of metabolism, which is divided into two parts, anabolism and catabolism. So anabolism is biosynthesis. Biosynthetic reactions are involved in that. That means biosynthesis of biomolecules, we can say. And catabolism means degradation of biomolecules in order to generate energy. So anabolism involves biosynthesis and catabolism involves the degradation. Whenever there is biosynthesis, the energy is conserved or energy is utilized for the synthesis of biomolecules. And in case of catabolic reactions, the energy is released. So that is the difference between anabolism and catabolism. So all these biosynthetic reactions results into the synthesis of compounds and the degradation of these different compounds. So these biomolecules which are present in the cell are of four types, which are made up of different building blocks. They are called as polymers. Polymer means it is a compound that is made up with monomers. Monomer is a single unit. When monomer combines with each other, it leads to formation of a polymer, and the process is called as polymerization. That means formation of a polymer, it is called as the process is called as polymerization. So this polymerization reaction results into formation of these macromolecules or biomolecules. So these macromolecules or biomolecules then assemble or they get assimilated in order to synthesize a typical cellular structure. For example, if it is cell wall of bacterium, then gram positive bacteria, for example, peptidoglycan is a polymer which is made up with polysaccharide and amino acids, the peptides, and this polymer will be assimilated for the synthesis of cell wall of gram positive bacteria along with teichoic acid. Say for example, it is DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid. Then this DNA is a polymer which will be uh, treated as a nuclear material, that is the genome of the bacterial cell. In case of human blood, say for example red blood cell, so red blood cell contains a biomolecule or macromolecule called as hemoglobin, which is a combination of protein, polypeptide chains, and metal ions. So likewise, these different organic compounds, metal ions, they combine together to form biomolecules and they assimilate to perform a particular function, or they're responsible for giving structural integrity to the cell. For example, in case of bacterium, peptidoglycan, it gives structural integrity. For example, in case of hemoglobin in red blood cell, it is responsible for performing the function of transport of gases, that is CO2 and oxygen, and likewise. So these macromolecules are basically of four types. They are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. These biomolecules may combine together to form a different combination. That means carbohydrate can combine with lipids to form glycolipids. Carbohydrates may combine with proteins to form uh, proteoglycans or glycoproteins, nucleic acids. So likewise, these different biomolecules may combine with each other to form a particular type of macromolecule to perform its specific function. So let us see what are these different macromolecules or biomolecules or a polymer. First one is protein. It is a polymer, and this protein is made up with amino acids. So amino acids are the monomers that makes this protein polymer. These amino acids combine together, amino acid plus amino acid plus amino acid plus amino acid. So chain of amino acids, it leads to formation of a polypeptide chain that further will be called as protein. These amino acids link together with the help of a bond, and that bond is called as peptide bond. So this is a bond, means it is a linkage between two amino acids. There are examples like keratin is a protein, collagen, hemoglobin are different examples of protein, structural and functional proteins. Second one is carbohydrate. The polymer is carbohydrate biomolecule. It is made up with monosaccharides. So the monomeric unit is monosaccharide. Saccharide means sugar. So sugar units combine together to form carbohydrates. So these may be having a single unit. They are called as monosaccharides. Two units of monosaccharide, when they join together, it becomes disaccharide, trisaccharide, so on and so forth, it becomes polysaccharide. So these two monosaccharide units combine together with the help of a linkage called as glycoside linkage or glycosidic bond which is present in carbohydrates. In proteins, it is peptide. General examples are starch, which are present in plants, cellulose, and glycogen. Glycogen is present in animals. Cellulose, starch, they are present in algae and plants. Third type of biomolecule is lipid. It is a polymer. Lipids are made up with fatty acids, glycerol, and phosphate. So, when such units combine together, it forms lipids. There are different types of lipids that we'll be learning very soon. The bonds which are present in these lipids are ester bonds. Sometimes there may be presence of ether bonds also. So it leads to formation of lipids which falls into different categories. They are oils, waxes, sterols, phospholipids. Then the fourth type is nucleic acid. Nucleic acids are basically composed of nucleotides, and these nucleotides are composed of purines and pyrimidines, ribose and phosphate. So nucleotides are linked together with the help of a bond called as phosphodiester bond or phosphodiester linkage. There are examples of nucleic acids. They are of two types, ribonucleic acid and deoxyribonucleic acid. So this is how we can see that there are four types of polymers. Proteins are made up with amino acids, carbohydrates with monosaccharides, lipids with fatty acids, glycerol and phosphate. Nucleic acids are with nucleotides, and nucleotides are composed of purines, pyrimidines, ribose and phosphate. And you need to remember the types of linkages present between all these biomolecules. In proteins, they are peptide bonds, which are covalent bonds. In carbohydrates, they are glycosidic bonds. In case of fats, they are ester bonds, and in case of nucleic acids, they are phosphodiester linkage. The combination of these polymers may exist in the cell. Proteins may combine with carbohydrate that leads to formation of proteoglycans. Proteo means protein, glycan means carbohydrate. Or there may be formation of other molecule like glycoproteins. Glyco means carbohydrate and protein. So these are the conjugated polymers. We call them as conjugated polymers, means combination of this polymer leads to formation of macromolecules. Likewise, carbohydrates may combine with lipids to form glycolipids. Glyco, carbohydrate and lipids. These macromolecules are also involved in different cellular functions. Lipids may combine with protein to form lipoproteins. Lipids, proteins. So lipids may combine with protein to form lipoproteins. So all these are the like this nucleic acid. Nucleic acid also may combine sometimes with protein to form nucleoprotein. Nucleo stands for nucleic acid and protein. So you need to remember these different examples of conjugated molecules. Examples of conjugated molecules of protein carbohydrate, protein lipid, protein, nucleic acid. Uh, Now there is a little question that arises that I have used the word when there is a combination of protein and carbohydrate that leads to formation of either glycoprotein or proteoglycan. What is the difference? The difference lies in its percentage of carbohydrate and percentage of protein. For example, if it is proteoglycan, then in this case the percentage of carbohydrate is more as compared to protein. If it is glycoprotein, then the percentage of carbohydrate is less and the percentage of protein is more. If it is uh, lipoprotein, then the percentage of lipid is less, percentage of protein in that conjugate will be more. If it is nucleoprotein, then the percentage of nucleic acid is less, as and the percentage of protein is more. So likewise, these are the different concepts of macromolecules. Four basic type of macromolecules: protein, carbohydrates, lipids and nucleic acids. And there are several other conjugated macromolecules like proteoglycans, glycoproteins, lipoproteins, nucleoproteins, etc., etc. So this is how these four different types of biomolecules we will be studying in detail. So first we'll begin with the carbohydrates. Under this topic we'll be learning about the structure and functions of each and every biomolecule, that is structure and function of carbohydrate, protein, lipids and nucleic acids.